All right, let's get back into. We have another video. This topic: you can touch each other, but not your phones. I feel like we've covered this in recent times, but it came up again as a conversation inside of Clubhouse again. And you can touch each other, but not your phones. Why do people say this? The person saying this statement is basically someone who is obsessed with the idea that we must have open access to each other's phone. Okay, this is coming from a person who is obsessively advocating that there is no reason why a married couple especially cannot have access how do you say that, complete 100% access to each other's phone. Okay, guess what anybody want to guess?
Well, you're right.
But obviously there's more to that conversation, right? There's obviously more to that conversation. And we should talk about it. We should definitely talk about it. Tiwa says yelling is stupid. Yeah, in the name of masculinity. Oh, can you see? Voila. Yeah, there's more to it and we should talk about it. Let me see what Kise said. I have been getting more propositions to be a side chick in the last 5 years. It's not a nice feeling. No, you don't want to take that to heart too much, okay? That's just, yeah, don't take that to heart too much. It probably has something to do with the people you're surrounded with the most. But when it happens, you have to get into a space where your confidence says, no, I'm not interested. And don't take it personally, right? And keep working on yourself. But listen, yeah, I can understand why that can feel weird, Okay, but when you're older, they expect older and stuff like that. So you attract older men, okay? So, but again, you know how there's just a price to pay for everything, So if you're a woman of a certain age, this will happen. And unfortunately, you can't control how other people act. The only thing you can control is what you influence, right? Your surroundings and stuff like that. So if there's anything you can change, there's some things you can't change, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure you're safe and don't be around crazy people or goofballs like that, okay? But stay focused on what you're looking for and stay focused on taking care of yourself. It's a numbers game, but also it's a number of quality game, right? So quantity, quality is a good balance between the two that you're looking for, and the right person will come along. So don't shut yourself off and hide inside of the house because you tend to attract old married men. Don't stress yourself over that. Try not to. I know it's hard, but it's easier said than done. I understand. But anyway, back to this conversation. You can touch each other, so people can sleep with each other, but they don't want to touch each other's phone. These are the issues. So let's see why this has more conversation to it. Let me play this gentleman right here, and then we get back to the conversation.
In many cases, not all, one person in the relationship insists that we both should be allowed to go through each other's phone, and the other person doesn't like the idea. They resist. And it can become a source of friction.
All right, so there's something he just mentioned. One person feels like we should have access. Usually the issue comes from another person feels like it's a bad idea, right? Let's keep going.
Typical objection to letting your lover go through your phone is, why do you have to check my phone?
Okay, why do you have to check my phone? The typical objection, why do you have to check my phone? Well, when you use the language check my phone, it's like you're looking for something, right? Now, hopefully, we're talking about, oh, no, I just want to Google something really quickly. My phone is upstairs. I don't want to go upstairs. If that's the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Usually it's the other way around. Is you're checking my phone because let's see what he says.
Do you not trust me? That's
trust. Do you not trust me? He said that's a classic line. Why do you want to check my phone? If you don't have a straightforward answer like, no, my phone is upstairs, I just want to check something real quickly. It's like, what are you hiding? I think that's the next line here. Let's just watch it.
a classic line. And the classic answer to that is, are you hiding something?
Are you hiding something? Now, a person that says, are you hiding something, after they told me, let me check your phone, they're confirming my suspicion, which is they don't trust me, right? They're confirming it. Yeah, listen, common sense. It makes sense. Do you not trust me? Right? Right? Do you not trust me? Let's go back a little bit. These are the lines that I want you to pay attention. This is how it plays out in real life, right? That no one ever talks about. They only want to talk about, well, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, you're right, there's nothing wrong with it. But why do you need to go to the phone? Right? Can we talk about the why part? Well, because you trust me anyway. No, there is a motive. There's an underlying reason why this has become a point of contention, right?
A source of friction. The typical objection to letting your lover go through your phone is, why do you have to check my phone? Do you not trust me? That's a classic line. And the classic answer to that is, are you hiding something? If not, why not let me see?
Let you see what? What's the purpose? Why not let me see it? Are you hiding? Like, not let me see it. Now, if the conversation goes around like, why can't I use your phone? I just want to check something really quickly online. If that's the conversation, that's different, right? Not, why can't I see your phone? Are you hiding something? Why can't you just let me see it? It can't end there because I need to know the rest. We in this conversation need to know the rest of the reason why you're obsessed with having access to your partner's phone. Now, it is also a true concern that why should that be an issue? We're married. It's also a valid concern too. Let's be honest, right? But because the human spirit has a credible radar for bullshit, it can tell that there's a trust issue here and it pushes against it, right? So effectively, there's a crisis now. And if it's not handled carefully, it will not end well. There's no amount of common sense you bring into this, as in like, there's no big deal, that will make this issue, that will make the underlying issue. What are the underlying issues? Let's keep going.
You can check my phone. So what's the decision? Is it okay to go through each other's phones? I think yes. The emotions of jealousy and insecurity.
The emotions of jealousy and insecurity, so think about it right now. Emotions of jealousy and insecurity, he said, are inevitable.
And highly entangled with romantic love.
So he's not capping. He's not telling you that, oh, you should not be, how people say you should not be jealous. What do you mean you should not? What do you mean?
Stop the cap.
People will be jealous. It's inevitable. Insecurity. No, don't call me insecurity. What do you mean?
Stop the cap.
Insecurity is real. It will happen, right? So when people sometimes will say, hey, but it's the job of your partner to make you feel safe and secure. If you're coming from a place where you don't like that burden, you will push actively against that too. Like, why can't you just make yourself happy? After all, we're supposed to make ourselves happy before we come to each other. Well, that's not.
Stop the cap.
That's not reality either. Okay? The reality is somewhere, the healthy thing is somewhere in between. It's sweet in the middle. It's the extremes that's destroying relationships right now. Okay? That's extremely trying to bring everything down to exact science and common sense talking point is what's continue to destroy relationships. Okay? No one is willing to address things from a place of empathy anymore. It's like, let me try to understand where they're coming from. No, it's supposed to be this way. And if it's not that way,
you think so they're wise?
Then something terribly is going wrong. Well, obviously something terribly is going wrong right now. So let's keep going.
These emotions just by themselves can cause deep unhappiness, ugly conflicts, and even breakup or divorce, even when there are no actual instances of cheating or affairs.
Even when there are no, just this argument enough he didn't say the people or the persons, said these things will destroy and even turn to if it's not properly addressed. So I'm going to leave it there for a second. If we have time, we'll come back to it. But these are the issues we're dealing with in relationships today that everybody wants to cap and think it's exact science. It's not. It's not. If you could, we would address it in that, but it's not. Okay? It's not exact science. It takes a lot of wisdom to handle when this things comes up. If you feel that you should have access to each other's phone, there will be no issues if the other person feels the same way. If you feel like no, like when I was having the conversation with some people, they were like, no, nobody's going to my phone, period. I'm not allowing it, right? Why? Why do you want to go to my phone? It's a guy. It's like if we're going to do that, then we should both be doing it. But it doesn't even make sense. Nobody should be asking me that question, right? That's just his natural inclination, right? And he's not really in a relationship yet. So if you could say, is he hiding something? Like, well, maybe he is, right? Some people will say, well, there could be conversation with me and my sister that we're not ready to expose my partner to. You're like, well, why should you hide anything from your partner? It depends. This is the word that everyone is afraid of. Depends. It depends, right? So it depends, right? I beg, why are you hiding your phone? Bring it. Let me see. It's like, why? Like, sure, babe. Yeah, here's my phone. Will you be happy now? If you're happy, then hopefully that conversation is over. But clearly, we're on the same page. No big deal. The issue comes when the other person has been traumatized, maybe by a wife who is always snooping around and checking things. It's like, no, in this relationship, I will not allow that. Maybe you are coming from a place where you're like, he was hiding something and I wish I had checked his phone 2 years before it ended. So, see, all of this is coming from a place of trauma. Yeah, it's just bad. Usually doesn't end up well, you know. The key thing that you're looking for is that you and your partner feel safe enough to just throw your phone. My wife and I will just throw our phone anywhere in the house. It doesn't matter, right? Okay. Nobody's hiding phones. Nobody's, but there's a place where you feel safe enough, either a man or woman, especially a woman, where you're willing to do that. If that part is not there and you're trying to forcefully turn this to a rule in a relationship, it will backfire. It won't work. Regardless of which side of it you fall on, right? If one person feels like you should and the other person, if there's a division, right? If at least one person don't feel safe in going in either direction you choose, it won't work either. Okay. If anything, the best you can do with it is that they will get smarter and maybe have another phone that they hide where they put the spare tire in the car. So when they come home, they hide that phone. You never see it. They'll just get smarter. If there's a real need to hide something, they will do exactly that. So problem is when you're operating from a place of insecurity excessively, it won't work. It won't work. So it needs to be addressed. This need for healing, if it's a situation that's coming from a place of past experiences, Key says for some people, even if it rings in their absence, they cannot allow their spouse to pick it up and tell the person to call later. They don't feel safe or they are hiding something. It's one of the two. Either way is bad. It's like the DNA conversation. Should I ask my wife for DNA or should I not? If this thought crawls through your mind, it's already bad. Right? So asking or not asking doesn't solve any problem. There's issues already and you have to go through certain type of work to heal. Right? To heal. There's no way around it. Somebody say, oh, what if I just do it behind her? What? Do it behind her. Again, knock yourself out. Do what you got to do. What if I just go through the phone behind him or her? Do what you got to do, because clearly it's already bad. It's either you don't feel safe or they're hiding something. It's one of the two. Both of them are active problems in that relationship. So it's already bad. You're not fixing anything by going through the phone or doing anything crazy behind them. The only thing is maybe you're taking the first step towards some kind of healing or into the future. But no, just going through the phone, you're not going to feel better. That's the point we're making here. Life with Natu, you missed almost 2 hours. So how you doing, my sister? How are you? Happy Sunday to you. So these are the issues. So my last word on this is this. You can touch each other, but not each other's phone is gross comparison. They're not the same thing. One is 𝐓𝐿𝐿 𝐿𝐿. The other one is purely emotions. Emotions is nobody's mate. Okay. The other one is purely they don't feel safe or they are hiding something, which is another level of they don't feel safe. They are filling a void with bad behavior outside. Either way, it's bad. Okay. And yes, when the proper 𝐓𝐿𝐿 catches them, they will still sleep with you. There's no need to compare those two together. They are not comparable. Yeah, don't let me use bad word. They're not comparable. Let me see. I might have let me see something here. Here are some of the questions and some other points here. Why do you want to check? Can we answer that question? No, I just want you to check. What are you hiding? Oh, that's another question. We will answer that question after you tell me why you want to check. All right, we clearly have an issue here. Let's talk about it. All right, maybe we should engage wise counsel. Let's talk to someone about it. Talk to your own personal counselor about it, right? But that question must be answered first before we answer the second question. Are you hiding something? No. Why do you want to check? Right? Answer that question first. That question could be like, you know what? He's been moving crazy. I need to know. I feel like something's wrong. There you go. Now let's start talking about it. And by the way, some of the answers could be like, yes, because of my experiences, I will feel a lot more safe if I don't feel like you're hiding something, you're hiding your phone, and like that. You can get to that part of the conversation. But let's not just pretend like checking phones will solve a problem. It won't. That's the point here. Okay, somebody says she will rest after she go to the phone and find out like no, she will not rest. He or she will not rest. Okay, somebody about human being lie. You should just check. This person that was talking was a 22, 23-year-old man. I'm like, Jesus guys, this was stressful for me because I'm like, it's a young man. I don't want to be dismissive to him, but yes, welcome to the real world. Human being lies. Guess what? Majority of your work will need to go. Majority of your emotional work need to go in being vulnerable in a healthy space, learning how to trust in order to build and nurture good personal relationships, not just romantic relationships. You still have to do those. If you can't do those, even in business, you're going to have to trust at some level. You take some risk at some level. That's how you thrive in life. You're going to have to take risk, right? So human being lies. So I should torture the other person and start going through their stuff and questioning every move or everything that sounds like it's another guy that's talking to her, or some workplace gentleman is talking to her, and now there's a bunch of questions around that and everybody's awkward in the house. That's torture. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So majority of the work we need to go back to self. Work on yourself. Make sure you're not insecure at a very high level. Yes, to an extent, your partner, there's a way you move that you start to make them feel insecure, and you need to be fully responsible for that as well. Because why would you be in that relationship if you don't feel fully responsible for that, right? No, but they should be happy by themselves. No, that's bullshit. You're taking that out of context. Women cheat more than men. That's what somebody said. So, ladies, if you want to do this, I want you to be clear that men that are moving this. Remember, modern men want to talk, right? All they do is they just want to talk, right? So we talked about that earlier. So it's a competition of the feminines right now. So it is what it is, you know. There's a lot that goes into this topic, but it brings up the question of privacy, secrecy, rights, and privilege. If you see your partner, being in a relation with your partner as a privilege, meaning you're able to identify the value you're getting from being with them, and you're able to spend more time in building on top of that, making it expand, I think you will have less energy for being a detective in your own household. Being a detective in your own household, there's no way you can. I don't know how you want to paint that picture to be a good thing for me. It doesn't add up. That you're torturing yourself, literally, right? So, yeah, it's not comparable. It's not comparable. Yes, and people will sleep with each other. That will continue to be the reality, and they don't want to check each other's phone for whatever reason. If that's a point of contention, talk about it, address it, but make sure you get to the root cause of that concern, and don't stay in the surface, because you're lying to yourself. And checking those phones or putting a tracker on the car is not going to help you. It will only make things worse, even when nobody particularly is doing anything wrong, like that guy said. I'll be right